Hi, I'm Elena S Blair, and I'm going to teach you how to create natural, organic connection with any family that you work with using natural family posing. I start actually without bringing out my camera. So I get down and I make sure that I introduce myself to every single child. Even if the child is a baby, I'm going to get right up really close to that baby and just kind of make them know that I am interested in getting to know them. This really helps everybody to relax and know that we are friends and we're going into this with a really laid-back mentality. Okay, so we're going to start standing up right here, okay? When I start posing them, I start with standing poses because I feel like that they seem a little bit less intimate and the family feels a little bit more comfortable interacting with me when they're standing as opposed to sitting. It allows them to make space with their bodies a little bit if they need to. Actually, yeah, have her kind of step in there. Bodies right next to each other. All right, girls, come here. Your turn, your turn. Okay, guys, stand right here. Now give each other a big hug. Can you give each other a big hug? I feel like I'm directing almost the whole time. I'm telling them what I want them to do, how I want them to behave, really. So I got the mom and dad right together, and then I asked them to kiss just to kind of break the ice, get them in the mode of my style of photography, which is going to be pretty close, and me asking them to do things like that. Rosie, look, can you see her eye? Rosie. And then I always come in for every pose and take detail shots within the pose. Good job. Hey, Vivian. I'm going to give her a kiss right here on the cheek. So I try to get at least 1 or 2 standing poses right away, and popping a kid up on the shoulders is a great way to kind of get a variation of them just standing. It kind of makes it a little more interesting, gives different depth, so we got someone up high, and then I like to spread out one of the kids too to just kind of elongate the pose a little bit, just to sort of, again, provide variety and provide a little bit more depth. And then I always make sure though that they're always touching. So if you notice, like I made sure that mom was holding that child's hand or looking at that child so that kid is part of the shot. Flannery, look over at them. Don't look at me. Look over at your family. Good job. Perfect. You guys, this is easy. You're doing so well. All right, hop down. All right, good job. Okay, maybe we should try sitting down now. What do you guys think? Great. Sound good? Now, normally if we were out in the field, that wouldn't be done in the same place. I would do standing in one spot, and I would probably move to a different spot to do the sitting. But here, we were just in one room, so I moved right to sitting, and I move really quick because you never know when those kids are just going to be done. I'm gonna wrap you up. Okay, now don't look at me, just kind of look at each other, okay? Dad, look right at Rosie. Maybe kiss her on her cheek and snuggle right in. Good job. Perfect, you guys. Perfect. In the back of my mind, I'm always thinking about the gallery as a whole. And so I want to make sure that there's going to be plenty of variety. And so that's why with each pose, like with the standing, I did a couple different variations. And then with the sitting, same thing, I did 2 different variations because that's going to provide me with a lot of options. Even though I'm doing it quickly, it's going to allow there to be quite a bit of variety in the posing. I think we need to shake a little bit. You guys want to move a little bit? Okay. How about we all stand in a line and hold hands and dance? The reason that right after that we did a movement pose was because the kids needed to move. You can tell. They were like wiggling and going crazy laying there with the mom. So I got up and we did a movement pose or 2, and that is a great way to keep the kids interested in the shoot because they're still sort of curious about what I'm going to do, what's going on, but to allow them to move their bodies. And it ends up being really meaningful too for the family because they are looking at each other when they're moving usually. You can capture lots of details within movement. People's faces relax when they move, so I do a lot of movement. Perfect. All right, everybody hold hands. Ready? And this is going to sound really weird, but I promise it looks good in the picture. So everybody's going to dance, okay? So just move your bodies a little bit. Look at your mom and dad when you're doing it though. See if they're doing something silly. Perfect. Okay. Just a couple more. I mean, you guys are doing awesome. You guys are killing it. So I'm going to come and we're going to stand in front of this window just to kind of change the light a little bit. And then we're going to take a break, okay, Rosie?
We're listening to Elena, remember?
Look at those eyes. Cutie. Okay, come on over here. Go ahead and walk. I'll get you guys walking over there. Oh, big girls, come over here by Mama. So you come over here. And give Mom a big hug, okay? And you are going to get little miss and hold her up like this, okay? One thing in lifestyle photography is that they need to be told what to do constantly. You'll probably notice that I am talking the entire time. It's very rare that I'm not talking. And the kids need it, of course, but the parents need just as many verbal cues as the kids, maybe more. So I constantly am saying, don't look at me, look at each other, and then to get the kids, when they start wandering off, to come back, like I said, I say, come on, run up really quick and give Mom a hug, run up and give Dad a hug. So cute. Good job. Easy. Good job, you guys. We're gonna mom and dad give each other a big hug without any kids in here. Like this. Turn towards each other.
Can I take my shoes off for this one?
Yeah, you taller than him?
Oh.
Yeah, of course. When I get the mom and dad alone, it gives the kids an opportunity to just scram and run around a little bit. And so I say, okay guys, you can get out of here for a second. Let's get mom and dad together. And I do it when I know that the kids need a little break. And what's funny is that usually when you start photographing mom and dad alone, the kids want to come back. All right, girls, you better go get mom and dad. Can you give them a big hug? Go get them, go get them. Perfect. Everybody come together and just sandwich, okay? So like a super big squeeze. So let's get you in the front. And then the family sandwich is one that they just understand. Basically, it's giving them a visual of what I want them to do. I want them to squish up together and be super close so that we can really feel that loving connection. And it usually is kind of silly too, which is fun. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Yeah, perfect. Just like that. So I really like to spoil mom at photo shoots because usually mom is the photographer of the family. I like to make sure that I get mom with every single kid if I can. And the verbal cue that I love to give for mom is I ask them to get right up against their child and I say, now let's just really breathe your child in. Yeah. Kind of like breathe her in. Maybe they're a little bit worried about the chaos of the shoot and that just kind of brings them to a present moment and allows them to really be emotive for me and connect with their kiddo. Perfect. Okay, Rosie, it's your turn to be with mama. So what I like to do when the child is not really interested in being cuddled or snuggled up is I like to have the mom do something a little bit more playful. So I'll approach it rather than having mom breathe the child in, I'll have the mom do something like rub noses with the little one or do a big spin. And that kind of helps them to connect still and it allows me to get in close and get intimate things like mom's arm on the child's back, their hair kind of intermingling, those kind of things that I see as connection between mother and child, but done in a little bit more of a playful way rather than that breathing in that maybe some children aren't going to be responsive to. Good job. All right. Perfect. Okay. I think we're good. So if your vision isn't really connecting with what is actually happening at your shoot, that happens a lot when you're new. You have all of these ideas of what you want your work to look like. You show up at the shoot, you think you've had everything prepared, and it's just not really happening. It's not connecting. And I think that the reason being is that you're thinking a lot about what you want your photos to look like, not what you want your photos to feel like. So if I want it to be joyful, I'm gonna direct them in a way that is gonna result in a much more joyful image. If I want it to be tender or serene, I'm gonna direct them in a way that's gonna yield something a little bit more tender or serene, or I'm gonna focus more on a part of the pose like the hand or the hair or whatever detail that's gonna emote that feeling that I want out of the image. So I think what happens a lot when we're new, and we all do this, I used to do it too, is we're not really thinking about our vision, we're thinking about someone else's. So we have all of these ideas of what we want our work to look like, but we really aren't thinking about what we want our work to feel like. And that's a major disconnect, and when you can put feeling into your work, it's gonna make a big difference. High five! Do you do a high five? Good job! I'm so proud of you guys. I never stop. So if you want to learn more about lifestyle photography, please join me for my CreativeLive class where I am going to go into everything you need to know on how to guide and direct your family so that you can create images that are full of life and love and emotion that really just set you apart from the crowd because they're meaningful. They mean something to you as an artist, but they also mean something to your clients.